Welcome to Fono Stage, where we connect you with the music that we love. I'm the Brown Bandit.
And I am the Mischievous one. We are so excited to finally be back. We had a lot going on in our lives since the end of season 1. We got some big house renovations. I moved into my own place.
High five.
And we're really excited to bring you new episodes. We got some of the old themes coming back. We got you some new themes. We even have some guest ideas, some new guest ideas. But most importantly, we're just excited to bring you more music. At the same time, we got some dope Fono Stage shirts made by Dragons 3 Designs, a friend of mine. She actually doesn't do this kind of stuff. She actually makes like travel mugs and things like that, like this dope guitar one with some decal on it. As you can see, there's a bunch of them up here. And you can find Dragons 3 Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So you got to pick today's theme.
I did.
Our coming back theme, our intro theme. So what is our intro theme for season 2?
Our intro theme is Aboot Canada Eh. And obviously, if you're Canadian, it's a poke fun at ourselves and have some fun with that. As far as wordplay goes, what the theme and this episode is about is strictly Canadian, y'all. Proudly Canadian artists, their lyrics, their music.
Now on that note, all Aboot Canada Eh. So there's something, before we start about the music, just a little side thing. I got a little something to tell him. So I got 3 hints. Okay? You're not allowed to guess until I'm done all 3 hints.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
So my first hint, Ferda.
Okay.
Second hint, to be fair.
To be fair.
And my last hint, so you're shooting the scene for Fono Stage with Pal the other day.
Are you all videoing something?
Yeah.
Apparently I have started watching Letterkenny.
Finally! For all of you out there, this is a very big statement for me, perhaps just my generation. I was blessed to catch the end of it as a child and as a teenager, but the greatest Canadian television show ever made. Up until I saw Letterkenny, SCTV was my #1 Canadian show ever. And then Letterkenny comes along, this show Letterkenny.
It's a great show. I'm literally like on season 7 or 8, so I've been watching it for a while and just never told you. Letterkenny is not, to me, I don't find it like funny. It's just so smart.
Well,
and well done.
This is where I was going with this. So big ups to Letterkenny and the creators and the cast, the whole show.
Sure.
It's
as you know,
amazing. Hats off.
So many seasons in. All right, so on that note,
on with the show.
So I'm going to be starting, and for my first pick for our All Aboot Canada Eh
episode,
I'm going really popular, very well known song and artist. The artist's name is Snow.
Yes.
And the song is the one that majority of people know, which is Informa. So Snow, Darren Kenneth O'Brien, is a Canadian reggae musician, rapper, and singer. Born and raised in our very own North York district of Toronto. At the time, before he started making music, he was really infatuated with the gangster lifestyle. He actually joined an Irish-Canadian group of individuals and became involved in a cycle of fighting, drinking, and stealing.
As did we all.
Anyway. So the song that I'm talking about today, Informer, was released in August of 1992 off the album 12 Inches of Snow. This is Snow's first single,
Yeah.
which was produced by MC Shan, who also contributed a verse on the track.
I didn't know the MC Shan thing. Again, we don't share information before we do the show. We like to surprise each other. That totally caught me off guard. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I had to actually, when I read that, I had to actually listen to the song again to be like, you did? And I came back and they gave it another listen. And I was like, oh yeah.
Dude. Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
Almost everyone I know still doesn't know the lyrics properly.
Yeah.
Or nobody really knows what the song is about, right? Majority of people that I know only know two things from the song, lyrically.
Yeah.
One is Informer,
Yeah.
and then the other one, Lick your boom boom down.
And what does that mean? Mischief? Exactly.
Well, the backstory of Informer
no pun intended. Sorry, go ahead.
So the backstory of Informer by Snow is in 1988. He was actually involved in an incident in a North York pub, which resulted in 2 people getting stabbed.
Okay.
A group of people, pointed a finger at Snow. And instead of giving up the actual perpetrator, Snow served 8 months in jail before a jury acquitted him of both counts. But while in jail, he went to school and wrote music, which he would perform for the other inmates.
Right.
Informer being one of those songs.
Right.
So basically, this song is his side of the whole incident, and how even though it wasn't him who stabbed 2 people, he's like, I'm not a rat.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
So now, when it comes to the whole being Canadian, joining an Irish Canadian gang, his interest in the reggae culture kind of just developed over time, and it was more so the actual Jamaican culture and the patois dialect, right, which most people find enjoyable to listen to. With this cultural interest, he developed his own style of music, mixing dancehall, reggae, rock, and pop kind of all together.
Yeah.
Now, Informer made its way to #1 on the Billboard Top 100 and stayed there for 7 weeks.
Hey, big ups, dude. Big ups, man.
It is such a great song, and it's such a nostalgic thing, and
Sure is a wedding song classic.
Oh, Informer?
Yeah.
Well, of course. And you can throw this on at any kind of jam for the most part. I think it might be hitting a generational thing where it's like there's a certain generation that's just like, I recognize the song, but I don't know what it is. But for us, of course, it has to come on. Even the little skits in it. You want to go to the song.
Yeah.
But especially in the beginning, hearing that little skit, it's like it builds you up. You get excited, and then the song comes on.
You know what's coming. Yeah.
But that's all I got for the song "Informer" by Snow.
I want to know what the lyrics are.
I'm not saying I can't say the lyrics.
I just need to see everyone. I tried though. Y'all out there, I tried.
I'm not gonna do it any justice at all. So
I disagree wholeheartedly. On with the show. No pun intended again. My first pick rather on all of Aboot Canada Eh is Kardinal Offishall. Hail up Cardi. Hail up Canada. Hail up, T.O. We all over the place. Jason Drew Harrow, 1976 is when he was born. And of course his better known name is Kardinal Offishall. He's a Canadian rapper and out of Toronto. And he's still regarded in history and as of right now is one of the country's best hip hop producers. More so on that side that I've heard him rapping lately. Really best known for his reggae and dancehall inflected and influenced style of hip hop. He began his career in the 90s in the underground scene in Toronto, and that was a tough scene. A member of The Circle, who released several independent 12-inch singles. The song that I will be talking about isn't one of his like #1 hits or anything like that, but it was an early song and it was a 12-inch. It's called On With The Show. On With The Show, pronounced On With A Show, which is not one of his #1 hits or anything like that. But to me, it reminds me of my brother. You guys knew Samir. This was one of his tracks as well, and we used to just bang this in our crappy cars back then. I used to love the video. We'd get off on that video because it was just like he covered our scene, our culture in that video. It's at a house party and he's kind of walking through rooms in the house kind of thing, and he's rapping along with the song. So yeah, that's it connected with me, and the video was in regular rotation on Much Music at the time. Yeah. So like, you know, Rap City or just on regular rotation because, you know, Canadian content, and it was, and the song goes along with the video kind of thing. That's basically the party song, right? However, it was temporarily pulled from the channel because of an extra in the video shoot that had a security guard uniform on, and the security guard's company, or the security company's logo was on his uniform. So then later on they censored it out, and I remember seeing that back then. It was like blurred out, but only him. Yeah.
So did they complain?
I don't know if if that happened or not, or if there was legal action taken or anything like that, but I remembered seeing the blurred bit.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the song that I didn't realize was playing until I read it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I went back and watched it again. In the beginning and at the end of the video, the instrumental of Let's Ride by Choclair's bumping, which is awesome. Choclair will be mentioned on our next episode or something like that. It was the only single from his debut album, I, and then appeared on his second album, Quest for Fire, Firestarter Vol.1. And so yeah, it was originally released as a B-side in 1996, and then was again re-recorded in a remix of the original, which was released as a single.
Yeah, so as far as I can remember, this great, On With The Show is a great song. I even remember Maxine was a dope song off of that one, Old Time Killin', Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Dude, this album had a lot of wicked tracks on it.
Yeah.
A lot of wicked tracks.
Yeah, big ups Cardi.
I enjoyed Cardi at this time a lot. I really
Absolutely. And again, one of the four fathers, I don't want to say, but forebearers of our culture and our movement in Toronto at the time, along with other people, of course. It's a pretty straightforward song. I mean, like I said, it's party rap at the time, and he's a young man. He's at that house party. Like, it's just the song and the video just go hand in hand for me.
I was about to say.
As well, that time period was kind of like that for us. Like, videos were a big thing still. Like, I looked for, you know, we were talking about this the other night with another Canadian artist named Luwap, which, you know, we'll get back to him, but Lou was saying, you know, we watched Rap City, and it was only half an hour, so really 22 minutes or whatever. Right? So, like, you get 4 videos, right? Mm-hmm. So, man, what videos are we gonna see today, man? Like, we were looking so forward to that kind of stuff. So anyway, again, that's all I had to say about the song and the video, but there's more actually for me about bigging up Cardi, as he's Toronto born and Canadian proud, and yeah, hats off, man. Go Canada, go Toronto. What's your second pick, Mischief?
So for my second pick, I'm changing genres completely. My second pick is Sweet Mountain River by Monster Truck.
I was very excited about this pick.
My opinion on Monster Truck. So every so often you kind of come across a band that kind of breaks free of the mundane musical existence that is radio.
Yes.
And when that happens, we all have this tendency to just latch onto it. Because it's just different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Now, with a name like Monster Truck,
Yeah.
What you would envision is exactly what you're getting. Is a big, gritty, ballsy, full-throttled rock and roll sound.
It's an old school rocker. It's a throwback sound.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the band Monster Truck is a Canadian rock band out of Hamilton.
The Hammer.
So, the band consists of 4 members. Keyboardist Brendan Bliss, drummer Steve Healy, if I said that correctly, guitarist Jeremy Weiderman, and bassist and lead singer John Harvey, whom is actually friends with my cousin-in-law. Sweet Mountain River was released on the 2013 album Ferocity. And dude, right off the bat, as soon as you turn the song on or hit play, the song grabs your attention with that pummeling classic guitar rock, that classic rock guitar.
Yeah.
Those riffs and frontman John Harvey's powerful vocals. So good. So apparently, after doing some research, the song came together apparently very quickly. Okay. They actually spent more time fine-tuning the transitions than anything else. So their envision for this song was that what they envisioned for this song is that they wanted to make sure that the listener went on for a nice ride on their Monster Truck. It is a really beautiful put together song about kind of just nature or getting back to nature and just the love of a good woman.
That's pretty straightforward. See, this is what I mean by, and I love it. That 70s, it's an updated 70s rock, is what I like this as a genre to put it in mentally.
Yeah.
Kind of, I'm not trying to put them in any kind of genre necessarily. That's how I compartmentalize it. So for me, that's like it's straightforward rock and roll, baby.
Yeah, it is. It is. But when it came out, it's just to have that sound and grasp so many people.
Yeah.
You're doing it right. You're doing it right.
So about the grasping of so many people, when I was still doing here in Toronto, a client of mine asked if I wanted to go to a concert. So I said, yeah, I'm down. You don't care. Like we're so open-ended and minded about music that I just go. So it was at the Phoenix, and first of all, another great Canadian band named Crownlands out of Oshawa opened up for Monster Truck. And I just, what a performance by both bands, but I was so pleasantly surprised. I had no clue, and with the name, I actually was expecting something else.
Fair.
I don't know.
Okay.
To be fair?
To be fair.
Okay. I was expecting something else. I've said this about other bands before, like you hear a name and automatically, whatever your musical background is, you might think of something. So I was thinking, I don't know why, but I was thinking thrash metal.
No, that's fair.
And I was down. Man, they put on a fucking awesome rock show.
Oh.
I stuck out like a sore thumb. At the best of times, I like to say that I'm a preppy homeboy. And I rolled in there, looking very preppy, and everybody's in jeans or leather, and it was or denim. It was amazing, and I rocked the hell out. I think I shocked the crowd as well. So yeah, they put on such a great show, somewhat local. Hamilton's not that far away from Toronto. Great Canadian rock band.
Yeah.
And a great underground following. They bucked, like you said, they bucked the radio thing. Even though they get radio play, they just straight ahead rock and roll. Pretty cool.
The sound is wicked. John's vocals.
I like that fuzzy buzzy guitar. Yeah.
It's Sweet Mountain River. To jump back to this song specifically, Sweet Mountain River is a very beautifully done song.
Back to the whole judging by name thing. When I heard Sweet Mountain, when you sent me the list, I was expecting something totally different as well. I was expecting kind of like a country ballad kind of thing. The guys rocked it out.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Amazing.
And yeah, that's pretty much it for Monster Truck Sweet Mountain River.
I'm going to share with you my second pick, which is a band I've also seen in concert. That was my segue. So I'm going to talk about Rush.
Which we have brought up on a previous episode.
Yes.
Great band.
Great band. I used to think they were a great band.
You used to think.
They're an amazing fucking
Oh, jeez. I was about to be like, why'd you pick them? Since the last time you picked them.
I'll talk more about some of their background. If you're Canadian, you've probably heard about Rush. If you live anywhere on this planet, you've probably heard about Rush. They are very much so, I think, a taste that you must get used to or learn about or learn to appreciate, because when I was younger, I didn't get it. Then we're much music and MTV generation, and so I started seeing videos. And Subdivisions was actually the first video that I saw by Rush, and that led me the beginnings of a Rush journey that I fell off, and I came back to Rush years later. So they are a Canadian rock band that consists of Geddy Lee on bass, Alec Lifeson on guitar, and a gentleman named Neil Peart on drums. Although he replaced the original drummer John Rootsey, and bass guitarist John Jones was replaced, of course, by the other three members, kind of thing. They were formed as a band in 1968, but came up through the Toronto rock scene in the early 70s, kind of thing. Yeah. They weren't even of age yet, and playing in bars and stuff like that.
Nice.
You know, they're a classic power trio who sound way bigger than they actually are. Again, they're, you know, for a lot of people, it's not to their taste. Whether it's in the past, it's someone's voice, or too busy, or too monotonous. Rock critics certainly did not praise them when they were coming out. And at this point, if you are a Rush hater, just stop being a hater. They're some of the greatest musicians that Canada has ever seen and or put forth, and have and continue to influence years and years and years of different musicians since.
Of course.
So if you're a Rush hater of any sort, you don't need to watch this episode. If you're a Rush hater of any sort, again, just stop being a hater. They were known and are still known, again, for their musicianship, very complex compositions. In fact, I think when they were recording, I forget the name of the song right now. When they were recording certain compositions, they'd have to do them in parts because they were so complex. They'd start themselves as a band would sometimes lose track where are we at again in this song, kind of thing. So yeah, very eclectic, off the wall, musically and lyrically, and that's of course because of Neil Peart as the main writer for the band. Really rocked out in the 70s and moved up into progressive rock and a lot more organ and not organ but synthesized sound in the 90s, kind of thing. And hey, bands have to grow, and we're not always going to like a band from here all the way to here. There's going to be, they have to explore and create art, and so we're going to like what we like out of those bands.
Yeah.
The song that I chose by them is called Limelight, and some interesting things that I come across. That was very Yoda-ish. I came across some really interesting facts of and on Limelight. The phrase "in the limelight" means the center of attention. So you're in the limelight, right? In the early days of theater, a limelight was a device used to brightly illuminate or light up a stage front, which put whoever was performing in the spotlight, right?
In the limelight.
So the light was made by focusing a flame at a cylinder filled with lime that they projected through a lens.
This is like the
original. That's how the term limelight came about.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would have never have guessed that in a million years, kind of thing. So that's how Limelight came about. Limelight by Rush was written by Neil Peart, who again is the drummer for the band, and one of the greatest rock drummers that has ever graced this planet. I'm glad that you didn't argue with me at all on that. There would have been some throwdowns maybe. This is from Neil Peart. Success puts a strain on the friendship, and it puts the strains on your day-to-day relationships, and it's something that we did go through, and that they're not immune to it as far as success goes. But we were over, this is again his words, but we were able to overcome it just through our closeness, and we were able to help each other with difficulties like that. And then we could deal with the pressures and things and that. I like how Geddy Lee puts it. It was definitely a Neil Peart song, but it was about his difficulty with being in the limelight, with autograph seekers or with people being like, oh my God, it's Neil Peart kind of thing. He was absolutely uncomfortable with that. And so fortunately for him, Geddy and Alex were the opposite of that, meaning they could deal with that part of it. Okay, that didn't bother them. Can I please get an autograph? Whatever the case was. He always wanted to be in the back. He was very uncomfortable with adulation. And that's what the song's about. You know, I love his lyricism. He's such a great writer, and he was a very prolific reader. So there's this line in Limelight that states, all the world's indeed a stage and we are merely players. And it's from Shakespeare, As You Like It. And Shakespeare's line goes, all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players.
Yeah.
And so yes, it's maybe some people say Shakespeare ripoff. It's a take on Shakespeare, a reminder of where his ideas, come together and come from.
I'm a huge fan of Shakespeare, so
I
love that.
I didn't catch that actually.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I didn't tie the two together, and then as soon as you said it's from Shakespeare, I was like, is it? And then you said Shakespeare's version. I was like, oh right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And I'd heard the line before. Lastly, about Limelight, Alex Lifeson had talked about it and said that they were very careful not to let success and being in the limelight get to them and ruin their closeness, kind of thing. They were always there for each other. Unfortunately, Neil Peart passed away a few years back, and sorely missed. Again, and that's why I started off with saying I had the pleasure of seeing them play in concert when I was 16. It's a very long time ago now. That's just it. Again, sudden success can really change you, and you can become lazy and have people doing things for you, and you kind of can lose perspective. Again, this is Alex Lifeson stating some of these ideas and thoughts, and so that again is what Limelight's about. So I hit with that. Not that I'm successful and in the limelight as far as a rock star goes. I have no clue what that would be like.
But at the same time, it's like it's funny to hear that, because you at least when it comes to the rock stars and the rock star lifestyle, you assume
that they would
love the
suck
limelight.
that up. Yeah.
But like it would be part of the facade of being just not facade, but facade the word I'm looking for? No. But like the whole
role almost.
The role, right? It would fall into the role, and it's like, if you're gonna make the music, you're gonna make this type of music. bring that level of energy to your music, then you must love
You must relish it or something almost,
love
right?
the attention and just the love that you're getting for your music. But for him to be like, back up.
No, I'm good with having. Well, we see that more now in this day and time.
Yeah.
Because there is no privacy.
Exactly.
So I think you called it many years ago. You knew what was coming. So big ups to Rush, and hats off, gentlemen. What's your third pick?
So for my last pick, it's going. Obviously, Canada being home, Toronto being home. I'm gonna go even deeper into home, and my next band is actually a Canadian rock band out of Mississauga, Ontario.
Big ups.
That's where I used to live.
Mischievous.
I grew up actually. No, I grew up.
Grew up in Mississauga. Go Saga, go Saga, Sogs baby.
I'm North York born, but I grew up in Mississauga.
Yeah.
So
Meadow Bell represent. That's two.
Yep, actually, Meadowville. That's exactly where I'm from. There's actually here's the thing. The band I'm going to be talking about today is Billy Talent. The song is River Below. But to go back to the band before I talk about the song, there's just when I say home, there's just this whole band is home. Right, for a lot of different reasons. So yes, they're a band out of Mississauga, Ontario, which was formed in 1993. The band consists of 4 members. So lead singer Ben Kowalowitz, guitarist Ian Desaw, bassist Jonathan Gallant, and drummer Aaron Solominiak. Now, before I continue on, I'm sorry if I buggered up any of those last names. But again, going back to the whole, it being home, Mississauga and all that, these dudes met in my high school, right? Our Lady of Mount Carmel, big ups, which was, it's where I went. A bunch of my family members went there. When they hit big, it was so cool to be what was cool was to go through the school and see the old graduation pictures, and those dudes were there, like that was really, really cool to be able to do. Now, when they first formed Billy Talent, they actually formed under the name Pez and remained underground until 2001. So they formed in 93 under the name Pez and stayed that way until 2001. They had to change their name, or they eventually changed their name to Billy Talent, but they had to because of legal issues, obviously. Which happened after they connected with an employee at Warner Music Canada's AR department, where they ended up landing the record deal and launched straight into the mainstream as Billy Talent. Now, between 1995 and 2016, they were one of the top-selling bands in Canada.
Yeah.
Like, that's a crazy amount. That's almost 2 decades. That is 2 decades of time to be the #1 selling band in Canada.
Yeah.
So since then, 3 albums have made it to that multi-platinum status. Going back to the song now, the song I'm talking about is River Below. The reason why I picked this song is because when I was in high school, I went to a Battle of the Bands.
What?
A Battle of the Bands.
Oh, okay.
Did I say that weird?
I thought you said about a dance. About a dance. I'm like, what is that? What is that? I want to go to a Battle of Dance. No. Anyway.
So I went to a Battle of the Bands, where Billy Talent actually judged.
With it.
So it was really, really cool to see them all there. But why I picked this song is because at the end of the night, they jumped on stage and performed this song.
Ah, cool, man.
And at the time, and we're in a high school, so, where teachers are everywhere, no mosh pitting. Anytime any other band came on before Billy Talent, any mosh pitting happened, teachers busted in there. It just broke it all up. When Billy Talent came on, the whole gym did it. There was no way any teacher was stopping anything from happening. So this song is like, again, home, right? Everything about these guys is just home. So River Below, the meaning has been thrown around a lot lyrically. A lot of people have kind of boiled it down to two different things. I honestly have no idea if it's true or not. In my research, I couldn't really find the real meaning. It was all mostly speculation. It's either one of two things, or a mix of the two. One, either it's about Oppenheimer's life.
Right.
So, for those of you who don't know, J. Robert Oppenheimer is an American theoretical physicist who is known as the father of the atomic bomb during his involvement with the Manhattan Project. So some said that it's about his life, and other people have said it's just about bipolar disorder, and referring it as an atomic bomb.
Oh.
I literally always thought the songs were literally about the rivers of hell. like, that's in my.
Oh, Roman Catholic boy. Guilt gotcha. Guilt gotcha.
Yeah, I just always lyrically, at least for everyone does this. You hear the lyrics. Despite what the song might actually be about, you connect to it, or
However you do.
or you hear whatever it is you hear. So yeah, I always thought it was about the fiery rivers of hell, but apparently it's either about Oppenheimer's life, the creator of the atomic bomb, or bipolar disorder as an atomic bomb.
Right.
I don't actually know what the song is about.
You
I
just
couldn't
enjoy
find
it. It brings you nostalgia and joy.
Exactly,
Right.
and it definitely brings me back to that. It's not even a concert. They just literally jumped off stage and played right at the end of the night.
That's a concert, man.
So, great band. The song has such. I kind of want to say it has almost like a. And this is again my opinion. Please don't hate me if for all of you true fans out there, but it kind of feels like an updated grunge.
Okay.
Even Billy Talent's just whole, like even their I would say their first three albums, Billy Talent 1, 2, and 3, right? Like their style to me felt like the bass core of it was grunge, just like more of an updated their style of it. Not every song, but for the most part, yeah. I always got like a grungy kind of feel to it. Again, don't hate me for all you grunge fans. If you feel against that, but that's the vibe I get from their first three albums at least.
I missed on Billy Talent. I was listening to other things at that point. I totally missed on Billy Talent. I've been going back here and there because now when I hear it, it's that nostalgic thing again.
Yeah.
It brings me back to that time, whether I listened to it or not back then. It's that time period, and so it'll take me back. So I'm enjoying a lot of these early '90s bands now, or appreciating them now, much more so than I did then.
We did the same thing with our parents' music.
Yeah, so true.
Right? You grow up listening to their music. What the hell are my parents listening to?
Well,
and then you get older and you're like, that's like all you want to listen to.
I have a story to share, and Billy Talent was on this playlist. I had a client come in, young lady, and she had earbuds in. I said, "What are you listening to?" And she said, she got a little bit embarrassed. And she said, "I'm listening to dad rock." And I'm like, "Wow, how old's your dad?" So she says, 46. So I'm like, "Well, I'm older than your dad. Let me see the playlist." So I look at the playlist, and it's Billy Talent to Black Crowes to Nirvana to Soundgarden to Blind Melon, like that time period. And I started giggling, and she said, "Why are you laughing?" And I said, "Well, that's your dad rock. Just exactly what you just said. My dad rock is the stuff my dad used to drive me nuts, blaring on Sunday mornings, kind of thing. That just makes me feel so nostalgic, and that I appreciate musically now."
Yep.
So anyway, it's starting to happen the other way now, and I'm going back to the time period where Billy Talent was reigning supreme in Canada. Go Canada.
And that's it for, again, Billy Talent's River Below, the song that is not about the fire pits of hell. What is your last pick
So my last pick of today on All Aboot Canada Eh, Vol.1 is by Daryl James. You had mentioned Billy Talent being local from where you were. Daryl James is local from where I'm at. I now reside in Lindsay, Ontario, Canada. We love Lindsay, great community out here. And Daryl James is better known these days as Close Kicks and or by Daryl James, the bassist for the Strumbellas, again, local band, an indie rock band. So Daryl has just unveiled his second solo EP.
Okay.
Again, underneath the moniker Close Kicks, and it's called Colors. And this is the first time that he's done everything by himself as far as mixing, mastering.
It's dope.
This is an independent project from the ground up, and he adds his own touches. He invited local artists, adding their own takes on instrumentation. But aside from that, this is that basically solo up.
The music.
Yeah.
It's a lot of like different ideas going on.
A few ideas going on there. Yeah.
By different people. That's dope. That's the way to do it. Like
his main idea, and then an addition too, right?
Yeah.
But their own take on it. He was very free with them, from what I understand. I think it's great.
There's so many good things that can come from just collaborating with people than kind of doing everything just alone.
Yep. And fortunately in Lindsay, there is a huge independent arts community right across the board. And it's been really wonderful the last 2 years getting to know that community here. Back to the album, it's called Colors. And it's alternative folk and indie rockish. And Daryl's an analog guy originally, and there's like this feeling of an analog bit where I don't know, I'm into hi-fi stuff, and his stuff sounds good. He brings that analog kind of feel and sound to it. He really delved deep for this one, and it really kind of encompasses all of what he can do. And I think he's, he learned from this about what he is capable of doing, and it shows in the songs. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna add that this was a big learning experience for Daryl, and a big an opening up of realization within himself. He did a sober thing for quite a while. So, this album Colors delivers a creativity, a musicianship, and a touching of your soul kind of thing. He covers lots of great stuff here, and some albums are harder to listen to. This one, I'm coming up to a hard time in my own life, and this album, it had some healing properties for me. The song that I'm going to mention today that it's really been touching me, and I have my own takes on it, but it's called Long Way From Home by Close Kicks and Off Colors, and it's a simple song, but it's a beautifully simple lyrically it's simple, but means so much. It's about, being away from your loved ones, whether you're on the road or work, or I'm going to put my own inflection on there, whether you're away on the road, such as, a band member having to leave his family and strike out on the road, whether you are doing the long distance relationship thing, whether you are working away from home, whatever you do, that's how it kind of touched me. And
it's funny that you say that, because one thing I actually forgot to mention with my Monster Truck song is, so the song, like I said, the Monster Truck song is about nature and the love of a good woman. But when I hear it, I hear the same thing, the longing for home, like where they are right now. When sorry to jump back, but where in Sweet Mountain River, to me, what I hear is, they're a band. They're going everywhere they're going. They're doing their thing, but there's nothing like coming back home.
Yeah, and being with your loved ones.
Yeah, and this
kind of
song is definitely that for sure.
Yeah. It's mid-tempo, the song.
Yep.
But it's delicate and intricate. The instrumentation in it, and there's a flow to it that's, to me, ethereal to some degree.
Honestly, because I had never heard anything with Close Kicks prior to this, and then you sent me the song, and my first thought with who you are as a person, and honestly, the name Close Kicks, I assumed hip hop.
Oh,
I assumed I was gonna hear some. I was expecting a kind of modern, old school feel, kind of hip hop.
yeah, that sounds about me. In a lot of my musical choices.
I want to hit play to hear just the beauty in it and the way the way the instrumentation goes, and his performance, and it was not at all what I was expecting.
Well, I'm glad I got you.
You did, but it was a very lovely listen. It has that. The music isn't so overpowering that you can't hear the story.
Yeah.
You know.
There's a subtleness to it that's beautiful to you.
But it's like listening to a story being told to you with some nice music just in the background to accompany it.
I like that. That's a good way to put it. Like you have your own soundtrack.
That's what it is. He wrote a story and he made background music for it.
So, let us be the soundtracks to your life.
Us?
With our musical insights.
Yes, okay.
Long Way From Home by Close Kicks off the new album Colors and his second solo release. Go Hometown Boys. That was our episode of All About Canada Eh, Volume 1.
And I started with Snow's Informer.
I seconded with Kardinal Offishall's On With a Show.
And my second pick was Monster Truck, Sweet Mountain River.
My second pick for today is and was Limelight by Rush.
Mm-hmm. And my last pick, again hitting home, was Billy Talent, River Below.
And the last pick of the day, hitting home, is by Close Kicks, Long Way From Home.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it.
That's
Thank
it.
you guys for watching.
And or tuning in.
And just to kind of throw this out there, guys, these videos are not only going to be on YouTube now, we have a TikTok page.
We do.
We do have a TikTok page, or a TikTok account. And if you want to watch the whole episode from beginning to end, we got YouTube. If you just want to pick and choose a particular song, TikTok is definitely the way to go. That way you can, if you had, maybe you had a favorite moment of us talking, or you enjoyed us talking about a particular artist or band, there's a way that you could just go straight to that and just, show your friends and your family and whomever, coworkers, strangers on the street. I don't care.
Go check the
whoever
track.
you got, just show them.
And go check out the
But most
tracks.
importantly,
It's lots
yes.
of Canadian and only Canadian content. So,
There's just something Aboot Canada.
hey,
See you guys.
bye.
Oh, it's such a nice temperature out. Oh, that's it. Mom's attacked her. Oh Oh my god, I didn't know you were already filming because breakfast is ready.
Yeah, it's a bit short.